disturbing. There was a lot of fluids. There was a lot of flesh. There was a lot of weird things with nipples that were very disturbing. He didn't. And then it was just really evil. I just hate the evilness of this film. And oh, it was really, really disturbing to me.
Amateur Girl and Fanboy present the Big Bad Glass Movie Review.
Fanboy is now with Amateur Girl.
Today, she's going to give us her thoughts on Infinity
It's a
Pool.
lot. This movie was a lot. So what I loved about the film, loved Alexander Skarsgård. He's one of my favorites. So, whenever he's in a film, if I dislike it or love it, it's always a plus for me. And then Mia Goth, she's a great actress. I loved watching her in this movie. I love the surrealness of it all. So it was an interesting film. And yeah, other than that, that's all I really liked about it. It was horrifying. It was very disturbing. There was a lot of fluids. There was a lot of flesh. There was a lot of weird things with nipples that were very disturbing. So
Oh yes, the nipples. Yeah.
Yeah,
The fluid. He was trying to get, I guess, every fluid that comes from the human body into the movie somehow, except for feces. Sorry, he didn't have that. Thank God. But
he didn't.
I don't think he did. Yeah.
No, he didn't. And then it was just really evil. I just hate the evilness of this film. And oh, it was really,
Too gosh
really
darn
disturbing to me. So I had to fast forward it through parts, which again, that's my thing. If I have to fast forward it, it's not a plus for me. It's not one of my favorite films if I have to do that. And I did not believe that she was attracted to Alexander Skarsgård.
Which one? The Mia Goth character?
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
I don't think she was attracted at all. I don't think that was her game.
Right, it wasn't.
To her, it was a game, but it wasn't that her being attracted to him, right?
Exactly. So now that we're talking about it, does make sense that wouldn't seem like she truly was, because in the end she really wasn't. It was sort of, she was trying to seduce him.
It was a game that these rich people play. And notice that everybody and oh, should I be quiet? Go ahead, continue.
No, it's okay. That's kind of it. I didn't enjoy it. I don't like these kinds of movies. I didn't like it. So it was disturbing. But I can see the artistry in it. I can see the artistry, and I can see why people do like it. If you like this kind of movie, I see why you like it. I mean, it was brilliant. Not for me. The end.
I understand. Brandon Cronenberg, who is David Cronenberg's son, who directed The Fly. So David Cronenberg's always been one of my favorite directors since way back in the late 70s. Because and again, he's very much into the body fluids. So they're saying that. I just read Run Critic, and he was talking about how he doesn't think Brandon Cronenberg is a clone of his father, David Cronenberg. And I'm seeing a lot of cloning going on here. And even the movie was about clones, which is kind of odd, right? So maybe he's making a statement, his own statement about. So definitely a brilliant movie. Brandon Cronenberg probably hasn't made. I've pretty much seen everything he's done. He's only done like 3 movies. Possessor was incredible, a very kind of similar story. But not as. I don't remember it being as grotesque as this. But this one, I saw it as the because you notice that all the people are all rich except for him. He's the only outlier. He's just an artist or a writer who everybody hates, evidently. They don't. And the name of his book, I think I was going to look it up again, but I think the book was called The Velvet Sheath, which is really a title for it's a female, the sheath. Versus his sequel, which will be the Bony Knife, I guess. I don't know, but but it's definitely something to do with women and the feminine principle being alluring and dangerous, right? So he's sucked in, literally sucked into this world by this Mia Goth character who is incredible. They ever make a movie about concentration camp guards. They always have these documentaries about these crazy women who were beautiful but became concentration camp guards in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
She'd be perfectly cast, right? She was horrifying in this. And but his wife was rich, all these people are rich. And like he said, he's the outlier. So I think a lot of it has to do with not only the feminine principle being dangerous and alluring and can suck men in, that don't really know what their place in the world is. Yeah, he's just kind of a hanger on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just having fun. They're playing games, right? Funny games is what they're doing. But again, I don't know what is this obsession with fluids. Even in Babylon, the movie Babylon, lots of fluids are like going everywhere in that movie. I don't know what this new trend is with the body fluids. I mean, David Cronenberg has been into it. Maybe it's just a homage to David Cronenberg, who's been into it, who's carved out a niche in the cinematic world with this whole body fluid thing, right? So I don't know. Maybe they're just growing up watching him. They've been influenced, right? Now, Brandon Cronenberg, we'd understand because that's his dad, but still, it's an odd choices to make. But it does horrify. It scares. It's like in The Exorcist, with the girl pukes all over the priest, right? Very shocking, very horrifying. So it does bring a certain bit of horror to the scene, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you're shocked. So other than that, I thought it was very good. I don't think Brandon Cronenberg has made his masterpiece yet, like David Cronenberg's The Fly or Videodrome, which are his classic movies. But I also remind me a lot of David Cronenberg's new movie, Crimes of the Future, where the performance artists operate on each other in exactly where they execute the people the clones, they execute the clones supposedly in that area. So it was a very similar feeling to that. And I kept thinking about Crimes of the Future. So it was funny. I think maybe Brandon Cronenberg had maybe had been reading reviews or getting feedback, and he's, oh, you're just a clone of your father. So he makes a movie about clones. These brilliant people, this is, they have strange ways of thinking, right? So it was definitely kept me going. And I said, like, Mia Goth and Alexander Skarsgård was one of the producers, so he was full in. They were all in for this kind of movie.
Yeah. I mean, this is his kind of movie for sure.
And he played but he usually plays a fairly strong. He always does play a fairly vulnerable character, though. I take that back, except for even his vampire in True Blood was slightly vulnerable.
Yeah.
And this one he's very vulnerable, right? To the very end. What do you think? Do you think he's just sitting on the beach in the rain, trying to figure out if he's a clone or not? That ending?
Yeah, I know. I don't know, and I don't care because I didn't like it.
I see. Okay. Well, again, you can drag a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So anyway, that's our review for today for I thought was a fantastic movie, but Amateur Girl hated it. So Amateur Girl took off. She couldn't even do the bad glass review. So 0 glass for Amateur Girl. For Fanboy, I thought the movie was excellent. I give it about 80%. I took about 20% off because I think that the surrealism might not be for everybody, but for those who enjoy that type of thing and enjoy a good horror film that makes you think a little bit, then I think Infinity Pool would be for you. And that is all I have to say today. Fanboy signing out.